Yes, I think I'm going to agree with her, what she's saying, which I think that the first thing is that God has lead us individually to our own talents and gifts. So yeah, you have to respect the woman of God, because that's also the pillar in the house of God.
Yeah.
And like Sammy said, Sammy told me last night something that the best thing to give to the church is the woman.
Yeah.
And I think there's a right and a left side of your body. And if the left side doesn't work with the right side, there's no body that's going to work. So I just think that what she said is right. You need to respect that, because God made Adam and Eve not just for any other reason, but to do it and to control the church and to balance the church also. So I think I'm fully agreeing with that.
Tony, weet jy het mos 'n song gesing, Sorry.
Yes.
Can you please give us background? I think there needs to be a woman involved. Before you sing the gospel, there needs to be someone.
You know what? Like Mel said, that a woman has the ability to break or to build. And yes, it was a time in my life where things were going wrong as far as a woman is concerned. And I think it was also a place where Tony Bradley got into a space where he could find himself in terms of what God wants to do with Tony Bradley. And I realized is that when God made Eve, he already put Adam in place with everything in the garden. And sometimes it's hard for men to step into that place and to know that this is where God wants you to be. And especially in the life today, it's very difficult for men to try to find themselves at times because of what life throws at them. You know, but I've learned that when God has made you, you just need to step into that which He has made you. And once you have found you, then only then you can give to the woman. Because I would go as far as say that women are incubators. Whatever you give them, they're willing, or they have the ability to build and incubate that which you have given to them. You know, and at the same time, a lot of the men are no longer givers. They want to receive. But I would say that as a man, you need to be able to give in order to be built up. So coming back to I'm so sorry, I think I was just at a place where Tony Bradley has found himself, and the person in my life at that time, I apologize for the heartache, you know, not knowing
That you caused.
I would say is not being at the right place, and I would say is yes, what I caused, and you know, God gave me the ability to put that through song, and that's how that song got birth. So yeah.
Ja. Sammy, so wat ek agterkom vir die naweek, wat hulle sê gaan absoluut it's going to something that will pave the way for sê mense om ons gemeenskap te verbeter. Die mindsets van vroue oor hulle self because of what Mel said. And then also when you look to the men, is first to get his house in order. So that wanneer God individually werk, so it's an individual working this weekend. So so that die twee force that they can come together and complete what God is doing in the earth. Sammy.
The word of God says that wisdom builds, in Proverbs, wisdom builds the house, but it is understanding that establishes. So understanding is critical in order for you to keep the house that you are building with the wisdom that God supplies to keep it all intact. I believe the role of the woman is that keeping stuff intact. The man is the head of the house, which speaks about his authoritative position in the house, the man. And man needs to realize and capitalize on the truth of that they are the head in the house. But if you look at the head and you look at how God made and constructed our bodies, and we say that you the head of this body, and if you look at where the head is positioned and what keeps the head in place or what keeps the head in balance, it's the neck. And that's the position of the woman. And women should understand, or young ladies should understand, like Tony is saying, you should find, your journey in life should be finding. Like what Ashley Samuel said the other day. Your journey in life should be finding. If you find yourself, and now you understand yourself better, because now you can pray. If you lack wisdom, you can pray wisdom from God, but understanding will establish you in that position. This is absolutely an individual weekend. It's a weekend where you have to say to yourself, I'm going to go and hear what God is saying to me. The gathering has been set up for so many greats, Jesus being the greatest of them all. The gathering is also giving an opportunity for us to network and to connect with people that is doing, like Tony and Mel, them doing better and greater things, to connect with that anointings, that callings, especially the fact that Mel is traveling the world, and some of you might know that I'm also traveling a little bit here and there in the country, you know, and so on and so forth. And connecting to that, you know, I'm connecting to that because this is something special to travel the world. I said once, to travel is an art, but to travel overseas is more than an art. It's in these little things that you find yourself, and I think this weekend is really for us to find our place. Just to find our place to rejuvenate and refresh and rekindle, and then you go back to wherever God has planted you. So if you come for the gathering this weekend, you come just to come and draw and eat the meat and throw away the bones. Throw away the bones. We don't need bones. Throw away the bones. Just take what belongs to you, what God has planned for you.
And my mind is now so excited about what's going to happen, because it's move away. It seems that it's move away from that Superman mentality where one come minister and there he goes, but sit and have one-on-one, see how you can take one sister to the next level, Mel. I don't know if, but that's what I feel now. That's what you give out now in the studio, where young ladies will come, or a lady will come with a baggage and with whatever, and then you will make time just to minister one-on-one, because that's really our need out there. We're sick and tired for people just come in, have that 5 minutes, and then there they go. We really need people to impart what they have and who they are, like what you spoke about. Sammy, nou weet ek nie, span ek nou die kar voor die pere, is het wat jylle beplan het, of die one-on-one waar Mel specifiek gaan tyd maak vir die jong dames?
Ja, wat er gebeur het, die idee is met die gathering, of met die samenkomst, is om mense op 'n personal level te meet. En dit is ook om ons die so 'n nice venue gevat het. Dit is baie intimate, ja. En ons vertrou die Here dat dit baie diep sal wees. En as ons praat van diep, dan praat ons in terme van die aanbidding aan God. Die aanbidding wat ons vir hom gaan gee, om beplanning te gee, gesamentlik, is reeds om te kyk, reeds omdat dit so intiem is, sodat dit ook kan diep wees. You know? En ons het daai personal touch, because ons het gastsprekers wat inkom, soos evangelist Julian Klaassen wat inkom vanaand, en dan môre het ons vir pastoor Jacobus Brouwers wat die gaan wees. Maar met dit het ons hele reeks van mense, soos ons sê, the gathering is a coming together of so many greats. Jesus be the greatest of them all. So dit is 'n geleentheid vir jou, soos wat jy nog gesê het, Jonas, soms kom ons in, ons doen net vinnig ons ding en ons is uit. Kom ons sê, ja, kom 'n ou wat inkom en hy's vinnig in en uit, dan is nog steeds 'n Tony B wat die langs in jou staan, binne in die pews, en nie op 'n VIP area sit, of in 'n VIP area gedesigneerd is, waar die community nie kan by hulle uitkom nie. So die gathering bring dat jy kan connect, soos wat jy geconnect het saam met Mel op social network. That's the main thing. That's the main thing, so that you can connect. The seed that we are sowing, wat Lloyd van praat, die seed wat ons sow in die weekend is die seed wat moet grow as die gathering verby is. So when the gathering stops at Sunday 10 o'clock, then the connection and the networking starts. And then we take it from there, because then the gathering grows and grows. And we've seen so many things happen during the gathering, in 2012 and after the gathering. You know, we have a lot of witnesses, and we hope that some of those witnesses will come through. There was one lady that sat in the meetings when we had the gathering, and she had a smoking problem, and she wanted to quit, wanted to quit smoking for years. She was there as a simple example of how the power of God can move and really vanish your problems, taking it away just in a sec, just in a moment of time. And we believe that that same power of God will be available over the spread of the weekend, so that people can come in hurt and healed and leave healed. And come in, kom in seer en gaan uit genees. En al sal genesing onmiddellik gebeur in die naweekie, but as time progresses in die weke. Dis wat ons Here voor vertrou.
Nou 234152010 32805 met die woordjie Gamka voor as jy graag deel wil wees van die gathering of as jy enige vraag vir Sammy het. En ek van my kant af wil regtig vroue, jong vroue, maas, ouers uitnooi om deel te wees van die gathering van die naweek. Dit begin vanaand 6uur. Tony B is definitief in die huis. Mel Perry van USA. Oh, moenie fout maak.
That was my former house.
Tony voorheen gebly in UK.
Oh, okay.
Praat oor hy lewe van hom.
Oh yes. Yeah, maybe you can give us just a glimpse in the UK's life. But ons hoor nou jy roll.
We got a different slang.
Yes.
Why would you want to have it now? Because
Yes, we want it.
well, okay, to short and sweet. I actually went over to the UK to study. I'm a qualified architect by profession. Yes, I studied architecture, but music was always been my thing. So I actually got more soaked up in the music. So I was traveling the whole of Europe, doing different countries and things like that. So my music career actually became much bigger than anticipated, and architecture had to take a back
It's
seat.
like a casual to you.
Yes. So be it. And now that I'm in ministry, well, let me rather say I've been in England for about 15 years, so that's almost half my life.
Sure.
So yes, but I'm back
You're
home
still
now.
single?
I am very much single,
Okay.
pastoring at the moment as
Okay.
well. So it's just one of those things. I'm
So
waiting.
you will stay single?
Do you know
Just
what?
asking.
It's not for me. I know God has prepared somebody for me. I think I have digged deep enough to find the gold that He has placed in me. So it's time for that to be exposed. So I don't think the singleness might change when God says, "Okay, here she is," and we know that there is that connection. So that's that for me. Because I think I'm a man, and God has brought Eve along to Adam to say that, okay, now he's ready. And I think I am now ready for that.
Okay.
In a new dimension. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mel, you still single?
Hey, what's up? What's happening here now? What's happening?
Still single?
Yes, I am still single. I enjoy single life. It's a wonderful life, and it allows me to travel. So I'm still single. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Single, no children. Yes.
Yeah. So can you please give a message to our young people that sometimes become so impatient, so desperate? I need a husband. I need someone. As a single woman, passionate for what you're doing, just give a glimpse of how the benefits of enjoying your singleness.
One of the things, I think back to what Tony said a moment ago about finding yourself. And I find a lot of, life has changed. I know when my parents were coming up, you married young, and the things of life were different. What was going on in life, the experience of life was much different. And so that idea of family was different. And the need of what you brought to the family life was different. And nowadays, life is so much different. It's coming together and a lot of people say it's 50-50, and I was saying to someone, no, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. And so you want to bring in, I think in this day and age, because time has changed so much, there's so much pressure, you want to bring in life's experiences. For people who are saying, I want to be married, I always say to them, go live first. You know, one thing my mother said to us, she was like, we couldn't get married until we at least had a 2-year degree in college. That was just mandatory for us, her 2 daughters. But she encouraged us, and my father as well encouraged, live your life and discover who you are. And then discover life. Go and see what the world has to offer. And you bring that to the table with that person who has also lived and discovered. And I think it adds to the marriage. I look at my sister, who's 6 years younger than I am, and she was in the military for, well, she still is, but her life as a single person allowed her to travel. And so she was stationed in Europe for a moment. And while she was in Europe, she traveled. She went everywhere. I'm still trying to catch up with some of the places she went to. And she wanted to be married. That was definitely, my sister wanted to be married. She wanted to have children. And so she was, you know, looking for that, but it wasn't her focus. It wasn't like everywhere she went, like, is he the one? Is he the one? He's the one. No, she lived and just, you know, made herself available for when God sent that person. So spiritually and naturally, she was open to it, but it was like, at the same time, I want to learn who I am in those areas. And so she traveled and saw the world, and God allowed her to meet a guy from Spain. He's Spanish, and they happened to work in the same place at the hospital where she was, and he liked her, and because of her ability to understand different cultures from having traveled, even though he wasn't American and he wasn't black, they were able to connect and work together because of that openness of having learned about life and traveled. And so I encourage people all the time, don't just get married. My mother used to say it could be the right person at the wrong time. So you don't want to marry the right person, but it's the wrong time. Take your time, live life, and
life.
You know, even if you die before you're getting married, if you're in the Lord, you never know, you know, so it doesn't really matter like, oh, I have to get married before I die. You won't know. If you die in the Lord, it's like, it's better to be with Him. So just take your time, enjoy life, and then at the same time, be careful. Be careful of what you allow in your life, because you can say, oh, I'm going to live for God, I'm going to be single. But if you're allowing certain people in your life and you allow temptations in your life, as Tony just said, he's a man, he's real. The truth is we're all human. We're all real. We can all be attracted to a person, and we can put ourselves in position. As I travel around the world, you know, when I'm in different countries and you're interacting with ministers who are single and they come in your room, and I would say, open the door. Don't close the door. Open that door. I want people to walk by and be able to see us. I don't want anyone to be able to say, oh, he just walked out of her room. I don't want, if I'm attracted to you, because we're two single people and that's okay, I don't want to put either one of us in a compromising position. If I'm out late at night, you know, I don't want to be somewhere dark and secluded in a car with you. I have to protect myself because I know my own flesh. If he doesn't know mine, I need to know my own flesh. And so you have to be careful about that and still live your life, but be honest and be true. Wait your time. When you are ready, when you are prepared, when you've gone through the process like Esther went through that process of purification, then God will bring that king. You know, everybody's looking for a Boaz. Boaz was for one woman. You're not going to find Boaz, okay? I know all these preachers are preaching, God will send you your Boaz. No, He's going to send whoever is for you. And so you prepare yourself and allow God to bring that to you. Just take your time and live life and enjoy it.
Yeah, and sometimes us in South Africa, we like to... wat die woord begeer. Desire you Americans, because we thought you the ultimate Americans. But sometimes we lose the much great things that we have within South Africa. So what message also do you have? Because you have also challenges within your own cities, within your own place. There's crime, there's unemployment, there's stuff like that, and what we sometimes see, like Tony said, it's not everything that's gold. That's bling. Bling is not always gold. So what message do you have also?
I would say, you know, a lot of times people look, and I've had people, especially when I'm in Kenya, and they have these impressions, and they'll say, oh, you know, I want to see the people riding these cars that bump up and down, and I want to see, and I said, you know, that's not everywhere. when you're watching a movie about what's happening in the States, remember it's not reality. It's fantasy. Even if you're watching reality TV, quote unquote reality TV, it's not real. It's staged. And so that's not the real life of what people are living every single day. Just like you have here people who are living in impoverished lifestyles. I can leave my house on my way to work or going anywhere in my city, and I will encounter within a few minutes 5, 10 people living on the street who have no place to live. When I come under the underpass, turning my car at what you call the robot, we call the red light, and I can look up underneath the underpass and I can see people's belongings, in bags, and that's where they spend their nights. That's where they live. So it's not always, as he said, it's not always gold. And, you have to know your own value and appreciate your own country for what it has. Because every country, no matter where you are, it has its wealth and it has its beauty. And I think that goes back to the church. We are the ones that need to bring the value to whatever city, whatever country it is. It's the church's job to bring that value to the people and understand who you are, who you are in God. And one of the things, that happens a lot of times on this continent is you have a lot of religious leaders that build up this wealth message. And so people think that that's the only thing about being blessed, or that's the only good thing. And then these preachers become rich. They have, several private planes, and they have these big lush cars and these beautiful homes. And that's not what it's about. That's not really what it's about. One of the beautiful things about the African culture is family. That's missing in the United States. And so here you have that wealth of family and intimacy and community. In the States, you can be a middle class community. It's not just in the rich. And you don't know who your neighbors are. You can't go across the street and say, can I borrow an egg? Or can I have some flour or sugar? You knock on the door and they're like, I'm not answering, But here you have that community. You still have that family unit. And so there are things like that you need to find the value and see that makes up who you are. And it gives you value. So if God blesses you to go to the West, that's wonderful. But if he doesn't, build up your community and thank God for what God has allowed you to be born into. If you're born into, we'll say, poverty, that doesn't mean you have to stay there. But learn from that community what makes that community valuable, what makes it wealthy. If you can see the wealth in that community, then you build upon that, and then you can become who you need to be in God.
Sure. Yeah. I wish we had more time on that. So, so I think we're now heading to the end of our interview. Oh, jette. Ek wens net ons kon meer gepraat het. Really, I wish I could have more time with you, especially to change our perception sometimes of who we are, and sometimes look to places over TV, look to roll to soaps and stuff, and then we desire that, but the value you have, that intimacy with our families, that we need to value. We thank you so much. Sammy, kan jy net afkondig hoe lyk die naweek verder vir ons nou regtig hier klaarmaak?
Ja, ons 3 dae wat ons het is vandag, is môre Saterdag. Wat sien jy nou?
Nee, iemand sê, how does Mel feels about young men dating older women? Any advice? You see now they want you to give advice. She said, how does Mel feels about young men dating older women? Any advice?
Okay.
Wow. Is daar genoeg tyd om te mingle en te gesels en so voort. En dan ook na die dienste.
Okay.
So na die dienste. So vanavond gaan ons 6:00 begin. So van 6:00 af kan mense kom en as jy graag Tony wil ontmoet, as jy graag met Mel 'n foto wil neem, kan jy kom en dit doen. En dan sal ons 'n aankondiging maak, dus ons gaan amptelik begin en dan gaan almal natuurlik rustig raak en sodat ons die program kan begin. Ons gaan ook vanaand net vir die BBC gaan ons ook hier daar vanaand. Wat is hulle naam?
Beyond
Brilliant Crew.
Ja.
En dit is as eie van ons, is product van die Karoo, is 'n product van Beaufort West. And we're going to use those youngsters to show to whoever is there, and especially our guests from outside, what Beaufort can come up with. In 2012, this same question was posed to Mel in terms of we look up to the Americans all our lifetimes. We just want to be like them. We emulate and duplicate and copy so much of what they're doing, especially in the gospel and in the gospel scenery. But the thing that came out from her was that we as South Africans, en nou wil ek praat van Beaufort Wesse mense wat nog in die Karoo sit, om te sê, we as Beaufort West, the people of Beaufort West, ons het nodig om onsself te ontdek. En sy sê toe vir ons in die onderhoud wat ons met haar het gehad het, is that what Americans have found their place, and all that they did now is they polish up their stuff and they present it to the world as if this is it.
Yeah.
And that is what South Africa and Beaufort West should do. It's like when we have guys like your Calvin's and the BBC's, we bring them to platforms like this and showcase them to the rest of the world, because we're going to take some HD footage. We're going to send it to the world so the world can see who these guys are. So we're going to start at 6. There's enough time to mingle and to chat, have a chat and to connect, have a coffee with us, and then we're going to start.
Nice.
6 uur vanaand, so by 7:30 behoort ons onze gast voor de main speaker voor die aand te heet, Evangelist Julian, who's also a well-known singer, very good musician in his own right. So he's going to be there. We're going to have Wilmot Fredericks from Christian Explainers. He's going to be there. He's just coming to bless us with his presence. So he's going to be around with Mel and with Tony them. And then morgenoggend we're going to have a session. We're going to have a combined session tomorrow morning at 10. So we're going to make slots where Mel is going to speak, and then we have some music and item here and there, and then we have brewers that will come up on stage and so on. Then morgen aand om 6 uur weer in Newtown, daar by die ou Assemblies of God. Daar by die ou Assemblies of God gebouw. Dit is waar ons by mekaar gaan kom. Die plek is mooikies, gerenoveerd, is leefbaar gemaakt. En morgen aand om 6 uur en dan zondagochtend sluit is af 10 uur. So zondag weet ons, as jy dit nie kon maak vandag en morgen, en weet as jy is definitief 10 uur. Is ja, zondag.
Nee, ek gaan beslis afwees vanaand. Ja, van julle hart af, something just to greet or to say one word, maybe Tony from your side.
One word, purpose.
Purpose. Mel, one word.
Well, I guess we would build upon that and say destiny.
Lloyd, one word from you.
What is this? What must I say?
No, it's just our way of greeting.
Oh.
He said purpose, Mel said destiny. What are you saying?
Oh, purpose by design.
Sammy.
Purpose by design. Nooit, wat is hij zaterdag? Het is morgen.
Morgen, ja.
Morgen, wat is het?
7 till 2. 12 till 2.
12 till 2. Oké, tussen 12 en 2, sê, hy gaan, as ons nou vanavond gaan kijken, wat is die opkomst vanavond, dus wat het vanavond weer sê, daar by die dienst, die opening, en dan sê hy, tussen 12 en 2 morgenmiddag, gaan hy sy drumkit opzet, so, en dan enigeen wat belangstel om te kom.
Kelvin moet toch gaan as hy nou ongeskakel is. Wacht, kom ons hoor gou wie son, Gamka, goeiedag.
So how are you going to do it tonight? I'm not telling you. How are you going to do it?
Sê my wat die interview reis. Ons op ander voete. Ons het gevolg.
Wat is waar ek focus so? Kom hier.
Wie begin?
My focus is big. That's right. Give it everybody else. Tell him up, tell him up. Oh, program. Ba-ba-da-boom. Sige, bass. Bass.